Well, after the last video, I basically finished uploading that and had a look at the weather and decided that I didn't want to wait around. Um, so I didn't. The wind it was supposed to be kind of 10, blowing up to 15 knots, which, in fairness, that's pretty perfect. So I thought the current's with me. It was with me at 5 p.m. And I thought, well, I'll get that 30 mile. The current's with me, I'll get 7 or 8 knots, should be fine. I'll get all the way down to Sanda Island and then round to Gia the next again day. Um, the Mull of Galloway had different plans for me that day, as you're just about to see. So sit back and enjoy me making another mistake that won't be repeated again. I don't think in future I'll put myself back into a place that I can't actually get out because of the current ripping like that. The place that I had to wait on the current being with me, and I had to wait on the wind being perfect. And with the weather apps being what they are, I just couldn't get it accurate enough. So what I went out into was very, very far from 10 blowing up to 15 knots and the current with me. The camera takes about a metre off the size of the waves. I was literally holding on for dear life at times. But a mistake I'm not liable to make again. It's another learning opportunity, I think they call it. So sit back and enjoy. Well, that's me leaving just now. By the time I get to the head, it should be slack water, and then I should have 6 hours of current on my side. Unfortunately, the wind's going to be blowing against the tide and in my face the whole way. Well, I think I've got it at the right time. It is blowing about 20 knots in the face, but the water seems to be a lot calmer just now. Instead of doing about half a knot, I'm averaging between 8 and 8.5 knots just now, so I seem to have got it at the right time. The waves aren't as high and it isn't boiling as much. it was round about this time that I decided, rather than trying to go the extra 30 mile to Sanda Island, that I would actually just run into Port Patrick and just wait until the wind came down a bit, which turned out to be a really good idea. Now, I think rather than trying to push it, I'm just going to go into Port Patrick here in about 3 miles. Because as you can see, the weather's still not great. I think there's either 4 or 5 yachts has got themselves into trouble, and the Coast Guard's been really busy getting them a hand out and things, so aye, maybe better just be sensible and run into Port Patrick and let this calm down for a while. I mean, it's not as bad as it was, but it's still pretty rough. So aye, I'll head into Port Patrick. Well, there's a welcome sight. Well, that's me in Port Patrick. One of the really good things about this wee boat is you can dry her out. I just slowly brought her up here, right up to the sand. So she'll be fine here now. Once it dries out a wee bit more, I'll stick an anchor out so that I can pull myself out in the morning. But that was quite a wild ride. It wasn't forecast at all. As I say, quite a few people actually got themselves into trouble, so aye, I think pulling in here was the wise idea. But what a lovely wee tin. I think everybody in the place thinks I'm kind of crazy. Because I kind of pulled in here rather than going into the actual harbour there. I just pulled in and kind of dried myself out, just out the way. At least this way I'm not going to get any swell and any rocking about and things. Well, I made the decision last night just to come into the harbour and just to moor up against the sea wall, because I was looking at the weather and, to be honest, I didn't fancy another 60 to 70 mile wind against tide today. I mean, the North Channel is great because you can get that current that gives you a huge help, but when you've got 20-25 knot winds against that tide, the waves that it makes are quite significant. So I just didn't fancy doing that today. So I think what I'm going to do is just stay in here for a while, just kind of regroup and get myself sorted out a wee bit. It's nice and sheltered, and it's relatively inexpensive, so aye, I think happy days. Once I can get a hold of the harbour master, I'll have a wee chat with them and aye, get some electricity on the go. There's washing facilities and there's a shower and things here, so Aye. And you know, what strikes me is I wasn't intending on coming in here at all. I was intending on going straight past it. But I'm glad I did. What a gorgeous wee harbour. And you've got the lifeboat in there. Absolutely amazing looking. You know, from a distance it looks really calm. But this is wind with tide just now. Aye, I think I'm gonna try and redo it when I've got wind with tide, because it makes things an awful lot more comfortable. Some of the waves yesterday were huge. It was like a scene from Deadliest Catch at times. I was actually surfing down to the bottom of them and having to power up through the top of them. It got to the stage that I dropped the sails completely and I just used it like a powerboat just to get through it. And as I said, there was actually quite a few people that got themselves into trouble. So I'm glad wee places like this are here. That you can just nip in out of the waves a bit and get some rest. You know, it looks so tranquil and peaceful in here until I take away my hand and the wind starts blowing. This here was a wee beach I came in last night. I wasn't planning on staying at all. I mean, I wasn't planning on coming in here. So I was just going to sit there for a few hours until the wind, or until the waves died down a wee bit. But aye, I think I made a good choice because the weather apps have all changed again. And it's going to be 20 to 25 knots of wind against the tide and the waves, so aye. I think I'm going to have a day with some downtime, just chill out and catch some washing and things, and maybe even get a shower. Aye, and I'll catch up with the harbour master and have a wee chat with them. Now, the wind is currently with the tide, but it wasn't forecast to be this heavy. So aye, I think it's confirmed to me that I've made the right choice. I think actually I'm going to have to go home. I've got a couple of meetings over the next week, so I'm going to talk to the harbour master and see if I can tie the boat up here for a week, and then I'll head up, get the meetings, maybe even get some wood for to do a few bits and pieces on the boat when I come back before I head off again. But this wee harbour's absolutely incredible. It's gorgeous. think this is for locals to moor up. They go down these wee ladders that are kind of bolted into the rock face. And then onto their boats. I think this dries out in here as well, so we can get down other ways. But it's lovely and sheltered. What a difference between here and just the other side of the wall. You know, I couldn't help but laugh. As a family just went past, and the wee girl asked her dad, she says, "Daddy, is this where cavemen had picnics?" I thought that was brilliant. That really cheered me up. It's lovely though. It's a really nice touch. But aye, this is where cavemen had their picnics. Now, the facilities at Port Patrick are basic. They're what you would expect at a fishing harbour, but they're sufficient. You do have to pay to use the toilet, even although you're paying for the berth and things for the night. But as I said, they're sufficient. And aye, it's really good to get a nice warm shower. There's plenty of hot water and things like that. So aye, happy days. The harbour master's really decent here, and he's actually letting me use the harbour dinghy rather than blowing my own one up. So aye, happy days. As I said, it's what you would expect at a fishing harbour, but that's more than enough for me. I'm just happy that I got a shower and a shave and a clean change of clothes kind of thing. So aye, let's see where the day takes us. I've got a lot of tidying up to do and things, and I've got to move the boat and put some things away and get ready for travel tomorrow. But aye, we'll have a wee walk around about Port Patrick as well and see what's here to see. Well, I think I'm going at the right time. The weather that's forecast over the next week or so is crazy. So aye, I'll go up and I'll get some stuff done, and then I'll come back down and continue the journey. Hopefully I'll have more materials with me that'll make it easier. Now, I've made a few wee purchases recently, or a wee investment, just to try and make things better. Get better shots and things for the videos. And one of them, I've started with the DJI Neo because I've got zero experience with drones. So it's the smallest and probably the cheapest decent drone with a decent camera. So aye, I mean, I was looking at some of the bigger ones and things, and there's a lot tighter regulations and things, and you need to do the 2 parts, not just the £11 kind of registration one. So if I get along with this, I might end up buying a bigger one, but I'm going to see how things go with this. As I said, I've got zero experience with these things. I mean, when the first came out, I got the wee indoor ones that you could play with inside, but that was about it. So I'm hoping that it'll bring a lot of really nice kind of cinematic shots to the videos, and I'll be able to explore a lot of places that, you know, I can see with this when I'm still on the boat, that kind of thing. so people will enjoy the videos a bit more. But we'll see how it goes. It's literally just out the box, and I've just got it registered. Aye, there's all these warning zones and things. Aye, sorry, I'm actually reading things off the screen as we go here. All I'm trying to get it to do is to take off and hover and then land just now. But aye. It's got a tutorial and everything. I don't know if you can see that very well. Now, although I've never used one, I've been watching an awful lot of videos on how to use them, so I'm familiar with the controls and things like that. So, aye. I mean, you can get the wee map down here and things, where you are and all that sort of stuff. And this, I think, this one here is the take off button. Okay, I have to check the status before taking off. Okay. Aircraft not connected to remote control. Right, I'm going to go to this and I'm going to get it set up and then I'll come back. Let's see if it's going to take off now. Okay. I don't know if you can see this button for the sun. Oh aye. There we go. So it's supposed to go up to about 1.2 metres and just hover. There's a wee bit of a breeze today, so guaranteed as soon as I put it up in the air, it starts blowing. I'm going to have to put this down, because you have to press this one for 3 seconds as well. And then it starts landing itself. Okay, so I didn't kill it in that one. Nearly, but not quite. Well, that was successful, even although it was only about 50 metres. I didn't kill it. I got this one as well because of these closed in propellers. And these guards on top, you can actually get replacements for them. And it comes with a replacement front and back propeller as well. So aye, we'll see how it goes. I'll see what videos I can get over the next few days and things with it, and just have a wee practice. I mean, the wind, I think it can only fly in up to 13 knot winds, so it's not a really powerful one. It's only for calm days, but I'll see how it goes. other things I invested in is this new phone. As I said before, you know, I film a lot of stuff on the phone, and the Samsung Galaxy I had, it's the S21, and it's, to be honest, it's starting to die a death. It's just not doing as it's told, so I got this Pixel Pro one, and it seems to be a really good phone. The camera on it's really good quality, so hopefully I can do better videos with that. Because to be honest, the aim for me is, I mean, it was originally just to document my journey, but it's kind of changed into trying to make the videos as enjoyable as I can for subscribers. So I got this kind of selfie stick thing as well that goes out to about 7 metres. It does both GoPro and the phone. And then I got a head harness and a chest harness. That'll allow me to show a lot more of what I'm doing in more detail. You know, there's been a few comments in the past that there wasn't that much detail when I was fixing things and stuff like that. So I'm hopeful that this new stuff that I've invested in will allow a lot more details, and make the videos more enjoyable for people. This is just the beginning. As I go along, I'll keep on investing in new bits and pieces of technology, and my skills will keep getting better. I mean, I'm sure of that because they can't get any worse, to be honest. So I mean, the only way is up, especially with this new wee drone. The battery doesn't last very long in it, but I bought the kit that come with 3 batteries and the charger and the controller and things, so I didn't go quite as far as getting the goggles for it. I don't fancy teetering on the bow of a boat with a pair of goggles on and a joystick in my hand, trying to do a drone. I think I'd land in the water before I knew it hit me. But aye, let's see where we go with this. Let's see if I can improve the quality of things and make it a more enjoyable experience for you guys. You know, I've not played with it for long at all, and I'm not sponsored by any of the companies that I've said in today's video. But, you know, this is just things that I'm buying to try and improve things. And as I said, I've not played with this for long, but it does seem relatively easy to use. It's quite intuitive, and it comes back to where it's supposed to. So I think I'm going to enjoy this. As I said, you know, I'll keep on improving things as I go along, and I'll buy new bits and pieces, and hopefully the videos get better. Now I'm filming this end bit in 2 halves, one with the old phone and one with the new phone, and I'm hoping that I see a huge difference, because that new phone was, I mean, to me it was massively expensive. You know, 1,200 quid for a phone's a lot of money. So I'm hoping it's all singing, all dancing kind of thing. But anyway, we'll cut it here, and we'll come back in here and see if there's any difference. I mean, looking on the screen, it does look a bit clearer, to be honest. It's on exactly the same settings. The video editor that I use can't cope with 4K for some reason, and it certainly can't cope with the 8K that this phone can do. So this is just 1080p. Unfortunately, I'm still grey. So hi, but I think it does look better. Only time will tell. We'll see how it looks once it's on a TV and things. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe. I've noticed that we're growing a lot more slowly now, I know it goes in kind of bursts and things, so I'm going to try and keep the momentum going. And hopefully next video there'll be a lot more sailing content that's enjoyable rather than me holding on for dear life. Aye, and thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.